7 and AM 1580 WLIJ, Shelbyville, Tennessee, the leader.
You're listening to the All Veterans Hour on WLIJ, engaging discussion by veterans for veterans, with your hosts Gary Leverett and Jimmy Miller. Join them as they discuss various veterans programs, issues, play powerful and healing veteran-related music, and keep the American citizen informed on things they ought to know. Right here on the leader, WLIJ, every second and fourth Monday on 98.7 FM and AM 1580, and reaching around the world on WLIJradio.com. The All Veterans Hour on WLIJ is brought to you by the American Legion Post 23 and by the DAV Chapter 43.
Good morning. This is the All Veterans Hour. My name is Gary Leverett, and I'm here with my co-host, Jimmy Miller. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, Gary. Good morning to all our listeners.
And we have a special guest this morning, Mr. Howard Thompson from Tullahoma. He is the executive board member of the Department of Tennessee's 5th District, of which Shelbyville DAV is part of the 5th District, Chapter 43. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Howard has a jewelry store in Tullahoma, so go by and see him. Help him out a little bit.
Appreciate that.
It's been there a long time, so you've probably been there. You just didn't know it was his.
No charge for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm new at the game, about 55 years.
So anyway, let's talk a little bit about our veterans. We want to help our veterans all that we can, and the DAV does a great job in that realm. Our local chapter has 150-something paid members. We have about 20 active members that come to the meetings. And Jimmy, you remember the DAV, right?
I am not, but
no, you're American Legion. That's right.
Yeah, after today's show, and I learned more information, I'm hoping to become a member.
Well, you're eligible.
I am eligible.
We do know that. So, Howard, tell us a little bit about maybe eligibility to get into the DAV.
There are several veterans organizations, and DAV is just one of them. In the American Legion, if you got a DD-214, you can be a member.
That's correct.
And then we chop that down a little bit, narrow it for VFW, Veterans of Foreign War.
You have to be in the foreign war to be in the VFW.
And then we make it just a little bit more restrictive. You have to have received a permanent disability in service connected to be a member of DAV.
And 0% is a rating, believe it or not. If you go to the VA and they say, well, we're going to rate you 0%, that makes you eligible for the DAV. And for example, when I first went to the VA, I went for my hearing, and they said, well, you can't hear, but we're not going to give you a rating for that, but we'll give you 0% for tinnitus. But since then, I've had a lot more claims, so I'm definitely eligible for the DAV. So, Howard, what area is the 5th District?
5th District is mostly Middle Tennessee. We start up in Wilson County and come down to Rutherford County. We have a chapter there, 8. Then you go over to Cannon County, down to Coffee County, and Chapter 90 is there. Then we go over to Bedford County, that's Chapter 43, Marshall County, Lincoln County, and then down on the border, Franklin County, it's Chapter 71. So we have 4 chapters in the 5th District.
So you try to make all those meetings, right? I mean, at least once a year, right?
It's good to.
Yeah.
I get off work at 5:30. Kind of hard to get around too much when you work
right
every day.
Yeah. That's correct.
But we keep in touch.
So I believe, you correct me, I could be wrong, but I believe, isn't it, the lifetime membership to be in the DAV is $325? Is that
Something
correct?
like that.
Yeah. You don't have to pay that all at once. You can make a down payment of $40 and then pay it as you go. But the DAV does a lot of good things. We help our veterans as much as we can. Try to help our youth and our community. So,
If that $300 is ever a problem, you make it known to the chapter that you'd like to be a member, and it'll surprise you how many people will try to help you.
well, $325 is the cheapest of the three organizations for full-time membership, I believe. I'm correct on that. I know it's cheaper than the American Legion lifetime membership, and I believe it's a little bit cheaper than VFW, but $325, or you can pay it $40 at a time, or however you want to pay it. But anyway, American Legion is $50 a year. A lifetime membership is really expensive in the American Legion.
So let me ask you a question, being as I'm not a member of the DAV. Like the American Legion, I know we have our pillars of the community. So what all does the DAV do as an organization?
So you're saying, what's our purpose?
What's your purpose?
All right, how about the mission statement?
Or that too.
All right. We are dedicated to a single purpose: empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. And we accomplish this by ensuring that these veterans and their families have full access to the range of benefits available to them. And we fight for those interests of America's injured heroes on Capitol Hill. And we provide ways to accomplish our mission. We provide free professional assistance to veterans and their families in obtaining their benefits and services earned through military service and provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, and other agencies of the government. We provide outreach concerning these programs and services to the American people and to disabled veterans and their families specifically. We represent the veterans and their families in Congress and other areas. So we do a lot of things for the veterans. And the mission, the main statement, a single purpose: making the veterans' lives better.
And our local chapter here in Shelbyville is Chapter 43. And if a veteran needs help, he can contact any member of that Chapter 43, and then that person would take it to Chapter 43, who would then take it to our Veterans Council, which we have a Veterans Council here in Bedford County, which consists of all three organizations, the DAV, the American Legion, and the VFW. And that organization is run by a board of directors. And then if somebody came to the DAV and said, I got a problem, I'm behind on this or I'm behind on that, they would take it to the council. The council would then investigate to make sure that they're telling us the truth. We don't give them money. If they have a bill that's past due, maybe their rent's past due or overdue light bill or whatever, then we go pay the bill. We don't give them cash. We pay the bill. But we support our veteran any way we can. And all three of our organizations pretty much work together at that here in this county. Brandon, are you ready? We're going to play a little bit of veteran-related music right here now. So, Brandon, key up that first song.
Over there, I knew what I was fighting for. We're the good guys, we're the bad guys, kick some butt and win a war. But they don't need me now, and these days it's not so clear what I'm fighting for back here. They make it so a 17-year-old can understand our freedom, our way of life is resting in your hands. Then they give you boots and guns and gear, and they train you up real well. Send a prayer on up to heaven and send you off to give them hell. I learned to sleep with mortar fire just outside my tent. Now night times when I fight to turn that stuff off in my head. And on other nights I lie there, and crazy as it seems, I fight all night to stay awake, 'cause there's some dreams I hate to dream. Over there, I knew what I was fighting for. Find Osama, get Saddam and kick some butt and win a war. But they don't need me now, and these days it's not so clear what I'm fighting for back here. There's a battle every day, a job to land, a bill to pay. Sometimes I think I spend my whole life fighting the VA. And it's a battle staying sober when that voice says have a drink. 'Cause the hardest times of all are when I just sit alone and think. Over there, I knew what I was fighting for. It was black and white, run against right, kick butt and win a war. But they don't need me now, and these days it's not so clear what I'm fighting for back here. So I fight to save my family, I fight to get respect, and I fight to keep my sanity, and I fight to save my neck. Well, if there's some way to win this thing, nobody taught me how. If they taught me how to fight, and that'll have to do for now. Over there, I knew what I was fighting for. Give it everything you got, just kick some butt and win a war. But they don't need me now, and these days it's not so clear what I'm fighting for back here.
You're listening to the All Veterans Hour on WLIJ, engaging discussion by veterans for veterans, with your hosts Gary Leverett and Jimmy Miller. Join them as they discuss various veterans programs, issues, play powerful and healing veteran-related music, and keep the American citizen informed on things they ought to know. Right here on the leader, WLIJ, every second and fourth Monday on 98.7 FM and AM 1580, and reaching around the world on WLIJradio.com. The All Veterans Hour on WLIJ is brought to you by the American Legion Post 23 and by the DAV Chapter 43.
All right, we're back here with our All Veterans show. Jimmy Miller and our special guest Howard Thompson, the executive board of the 5th District of the DAV. Our State Department is very active, and we try to help our veterans all we can. Jimmy, I'll tell you what we'll do next. Let's go through our meeting times and where to meet and when to meet, and we need all the help we can get.
Okay, we will do that. So for Bedford County, our American Legion Post 23, we meet at 1355 Tennessee Highway 130 East. We meet on the first Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock. We always have meat provided by Rowdy Ranch. All we ask, you bring a covered dish, and spouses are welcome to this event. We eat really well at our American Legion meeting. And then our DAV, Chapter 43, same location, 1355 Tennessee Highway 130 East. And we meet on the second Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock. And also with this event, Rowdy Ranch provides the meat for us. All we ask is that you bring a covered dish, and spouses are also welcome at this event.
We need you. There are 4,000 veterans in Bedford County. DAV has 150 members. American Legion has maybe 80. VFW probably 80. So you see, if we could just get just 10% of our veterans in the county to join us, we would have some big organizations.
We really would,
and we do a lot of things trying to help our veterans. And we're always having fundraisers. You know, we have to have fundraisers because we do things that cost money. When a veteran comes for help, that costs money. When we help our needy at Christmas time, that costs money. So the American Legion, one of its fundraisers is a golf tournament. And we're working on that right now for this year. This will be our 4th annual golf tournament in conjunction with the Kiwanis, also Kiwanis of Shelbyville. And that golf tournament has changed locations. We did a Champions Run last year. This year we're going to Riverbend Country Club in Shelbyville. And that's going to be on April the 14th. We'll have lunch at 11, have a shotgun start at 12:30. So if you're interested in helping us sponsor some of this golf tournament, our sponsor levels are whole sponsor is $100. Our bronze sponsor is $300. Our silver sponsor is $500. Our gold sponsor is $750, and platinum is $1,000. And if you don't have that, we'll take anything you want to give. If you want to give $10, we'll take it. Because we're just raising money for our veterans. The money goes to a good cause, and it's a good time of camaraderie because our members come out and help us run the tournament. And I always want to give a shout out to Barrel House Barbecue out of Lynchburg. Chuck Baker. Chuck, we appreciate you so much. He always provides our food at the golf tournament. Sometimes we'll feed 120 people at the golf tournament. He provides all the food and doesn't charge us anything. So, Chuck, we thank you so much and appreciate it. And I've already mentioned the Veterans Council. The council has several purposes. We have a Veterans Memorial up on the south side of the square, and the council is responsible for maintaining that memorial. And then we have in May, last Monday in May, it's always the last Monday in May, we have our Memorial Day service at the memorial on the south side of the square. So we'll be getting ready for that. Of course, we have speakers. Chase from the radio station here does our sound system. so everybody can hear good, and we always have a guest speaker. I would thank Jody Miller, from our guest speaker from last year. He was awesome. And and we have I can't read my notes, Jimmy.
I can't either. That's too small.
But anyway, that get me in trouble, you know. But the DAV and the American Legion and the VFW, we do all work together here in our county. We're privileged to have good organizations to help our veterans, because that's the main thing. That's our main purpose in being, is helping the veterans. Also give a shout out to Rowdy Ranch. They provide the meat for the American Legion and the DAV at no charge to us. Have been doing it for about 5 years now. So Tony Edwards and your crew, we thank you very much. So getting back to the DAV, you got something you want to talk about, Howard?
Yes. One of the things that DAV does nationally is support and sponsor a veteran sports clinic in Snowmass, Colorado. And this is for severely disabled veterans, traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injuries, visual impairments, amputees, really challenged disabled veterans. And it's gotten to be a pretty big thing out there. The first I heard about it, we were sending some funds out to Colorado, and I said, why is Coffee County, that's where I'm from, sending money to Colorado? We ought to spend it here. So made sense to me, and then I got to looking at it, and then I looked at this sports clinic, and this is making a huge difference in lives of severely disabled veterans. And I had the privilege of meeting one of them at our state convention. We have a very talented office manager in the DAV, and she was secretary in a Fortune 500 company before she moved to Tennessee, and she set it up as an interview. I didn't even know I was being interviewed and being a part of this thing, and had this young lady there that was paralyzed basically from the neck down, but she was in a wheelchair, and she was out there working to help disabled veterans. So I sat there and I watched her interview this lady for my benefit, and I appreciate it so much. She said, I was to the point that I didn't want to live. I had nothing. Think about that. Think of all the things you think you don't have, but you've got a lot. This girl, and she was a beautiful, looked like in her late 20s. She was ready to call it quits. And they got her into this out here at the Center to Snowmass, and changed her life dramatically. Put her out there, and they've got special skis, sleds. These people that can't walk are now sledding down the mountain. It gives them a purpose, something to live for, something to drive for. They do hockey, scuba diving, rock wall climbing. So, you know, it's just, the more you learned about it, the more special it became. And I became really, really a fan of this thing. Most people don't even know about it. This year it's going to be from March the 30th to April the 5th. So we actually will send some people out there. Well, let me rephrase that. We have some people that will pay their way to go out there to help support these people. They have to have somebody there with them to guide them through, to help them. And it's just a really a neat thing.
There are a lot of organizations that do help our veterans. And two that come to mind, Operation Song and Project Healing Waters. I've seen amputees in the middle of a river fly fishing.
Yep.
I've seen, a guy in a wheelchair fly fishing. And Project Healing Waters takes that veteran and outfits him, doesn't cost the veteran a dime. They give him if he's capable of wading, they'll give him his waders, his fly rod, teach him to tie his flies, teach him to build a fly rod. And when you're doing something like that, you don't have time to worry about your past. We used to say that 22 veterans a day, it's up to 33 plus veterans a day commit suicide. And just one is too many.
Yeah.
I know Operation Song and Freedom Sings USA. All three of those organizations are awesome because they do help the veteran in mighty ways. And it's our job here on this radio show to get that word out to our veterans, to let them know that there's help out there and people that want to help. But some veterans, we've got one that we're trying to help, but he won't even answer the door. We sent a man over, carried a heater over there because he didn't have but one little heater. And I guess it made him mad because the next day the man had brought the heater back and set it on my friend's front porch, so he don't want help. But there are veterans out there that need help.
Yeah.
33 a day, one's too many, much less 33 a day. So that's what these organizations try to do, is help our veterans, help our youth, help our community. I know the American Legion, they have American Legion baseball. They have oratorical contest, which is awesome. All three of our organizations help our veterans as much as we can. We could do a lot more if we had more people involved. So
that's right. I'm
trying to recruit you this morning. If you want to join either one of these organizations, and if you're in Coffee County, what's that chapter number over in Coffee County?
Chapter 90. Chapter
90 in Coffee County. You can get in touch with Harold. He'll see to it, Howard. He'll see to it that you get hooked up with Coffee County, or you can call me or Jimmy if you want to be in Bedford County. Howard, do you mind giving your number out so somebody wants to call you?
931-455-8700. Now, a young lady named Rebecca will answer the phone, and she will take your information and relay it to me.
Okay, Jimmy. I know our local can call you. What's your phone number?
My phone number is 931-581-5948.
And mine, y'all ought to have it memorized by now. We tell you every other week. So 931-580-2865. 931-580-2865. If you want to join any of these organizations.
And they're your organizations. They're for camaraderie, and if you experience anything as a military, you understand that you go in your local coffee shop and start talking about Agent Orange, PTSD, you name some foreign city, and people are just looking at you because they don't understand. When I first got rated with PTSD, this is a true story, and it's not to be mean to know anybody, but non-military people just don't understand military. So I was talking to a cousin of mine, and I was like, well, I was just rated with PTSD. And bless her heart, she looked at me in the simplest voice and she goes, "Well, Jimmy, you don't look crazy." and it's not anything being mean. It's just they don't understand the trials and tribulations we go through. So these organizations offer you that tight-knit community that understands each other.
Brandon, let's do another song.
Me and Fish Frenchie and Ralphie D. I had the Camp War Eagle Aid Station All-Star team. We were patching up bullet holes trying to survive. And even if we lost 1 out of 5, we got lucky. Got lucky. Mortars raining down like an iron flood, shaking these boots, wading through blood. We own the tanks, they own the night. And if anyone was standing in the morning light, we got lucky. We got lucky. Screaming and bleeding, goddamn noise. Bullets and bombs and messed up boys. Play with fire like a timeless toys. It's a miracle of God. Anybody got out alive? Maybe we got lucky. Got lucky. Staff Sergeant Gunner named Maurice Young. His chest ripped open when holding his lung. Oh Lord. I packed him and I wrapped him and I put him on a bird. When we hugged a year later, there were just 3 words. We got lucky. Screaming, bleeding, goddamn noise. Bullets and bombs and messed up boys. Play with fire like a timeless toys. It's a miracle of God. Anybody got out alive? Well, maybe we got lucky. We got lucky. When my mind rolls back, it ain't always clear how we put them back together, didn't sleep for a year. As the new crew rolled in, I started to pray. Oh, Lord, let them all be able to say we got lucky. We got lucky. We got lucky. Lucky. We got lucky.
Okay, that song was We Got Lucky. That was written with Army medic Scott Sullivan. That's his story about his first day on the job in the Iraq War. known as Black Friday, and the vocalist on that was Reggie Ham. So we like to play a little veteran-related music every show. So, Jimmy, what you got? What else you got? You said you was going to talk about something else. I can't remember what it was.
I am. I'm going to talk about our social media pages. We have 2 social media pages here in Bedford County that I monitor all the time, and there's different admins, but it's the American Legion Post 23. Make sure you put in Shelbyville, Tennessee, because there's Post 23s all throughout the world. And there's also Bedford County, Tennessee Veterans. And on both these sites, we post events for veterans, different things that come up. But I monitor these sites. This radio show, as we've said before, is not for us. It's for the listeners and the veterans in this community. So if you ever have a question or you were interested in being a guest on the show, hit me up on one of these social media pages, and I'll get back in touch with you. And if you need an answer to a question, I'll find it for you. If you want to be on the show, we'll give you a call and have a conversation. But please feel free to join these pages and join us here in the community.
And you can also get in touch with him if you want to join.
That you can.
You know, we'll tell you how much it costs. And if you're over 80, you can join the American Legion for free, because the Legion pays for anybody over 80. Our local chapter pays their dues. So and it's not but $50 a year, so it's not real bad. We have some other services here in Bedford County that I'd like to talk about. If you need a ride to your doctor's appointment or your hospital or wherever, Bill Tucker is the coordinator of our service here in Bedford County. We have 3 drivers, 3 vehicles. Sometimes they're all 3 on the road at the same time. Sometimes one's going to Murfreesboro, one's going to Nashville, maybe one's going to Columbia or Tullahoma. So they pick you up at your house, take you to your appointment, and bring you back to your house. Not many counties do that in Tennessee, but Bedford County does. And I want to thank Mayor Graham and our county commissions to thank them for taking care of this service. And Bill's number, he wants 48 hours notice. If you can give him 48 hours notice, he'd like 48 hours notice. But he understands that when you're dealing with the VA, sometimes they change things at the last minute. So if you can't give 48 hours notice and you still need a ride, he will try his best to accommodate you. But his phone number is 931-607-7178. That's 931-607-7178. Also, if you need a claim filed or need any information about VA services, we have an excellent VSO, Ben Ely. He's on the square in Shelbyville in the basement of the courthouse. There's a ramp all the way down. There are no steps. So it's, you know, if you're disabled, his office is easy to get to. Ben does an awesome job of getting our veterans benefits. He has an administrative assistant, Miss Cara. And if you go see Ben, I suggest that you make an appointment, because that is a busy office. And if you just go up there, you know, sometimes it takes an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to do what he needs to do with some of our veterans. So you don't want to be sitting there that long. So I always make an appointment to see Ben. And his phone number is 931-685-4838.
I'll give you a break.
931-685-4838. And that's Ben Ely, and he will take care of it. Let me just mention one thing. You know, a lot of our Vietnam veterans Agent Orange caused a lot of their disabilities, cancers, and a whole lot of disabilities. And I've heard people say, well, you know, he died of Agent Orange. Well, Agent Orange caused this problem. Agent Orange is not a disease. It causes the diseases that you get as a result of being exposed to Agent Orange. You know, there's all types of diseases that is caused by Agent Orange. So, again, if you've been exposed to Agent Orange, Ben can tell you what conditions are presumptive. In other words, if you were in Vietnam and you had certain cancers, that's automatic. You don't even have to. All you got to do is prove you were there. So don't be shy about going to see Ben. And I hear all the time, you know, well, I'm okay, I'm in good health, I don't need the VA. Well, let me give you an example why you might need the VA. You never know when that catastrophic event's going to help. You don't know when you go in that doctor and he says the C word. And he says, brother, you got cancer. And it hits you like a ton of bricks. Now you're going to be in the hospital. You're going to have a lot of treatments. Big hospital bill, even if you got insurance. But if you got the VA, if you go to the VA, and you're over 30% combat-related, service-connected, you have no co-pays, and you have no bills. I spent 9 weeks in the VA hospital, 14 chemo treatments, and did not cost me a penny. And my bill was probably $1 million.
Yeah.
So you never know when that catastrophic event is going to hit. So even if you want to use your private insurance, still go to the VA and get in the system. So if that catastrophic event happens, you're covered. I give you my opinion of the VA. I think it's the best health care system in Tennessee. Very seldom will you wait more than 20 minutes to see your doctor. They have a sign there that says if you waited more than 20 minutes, come let us know. Well, they saved my life, you know. So you never know when that catastrophic event is going to hit your life. So get in that system so you're at least covered if you need them. Okay, Howard, you got anything?
Yeah, I'd like to give you another reason to join the DAV.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Out in northeast Tennessee, they had a flood in the mountains. And it sounds funny because mountains you don't have a flood in the mountains, but it was, have a friend up there and he says, I don't even have a front yard. I mean, it took everything. And one of our chapters is in Bristol, chapter 39. And they are receiving help from DAV chapters all over the state, outside of the state. Here's some of the things that they reported to me. Right now, they have nobody reaching out for help. That's amazing because they've got camper trailers, single-wide homes pulled in there, set up like a campground. They have distributed $135,000 in checks to veterans. Now, Chapter 39 didn't do that. DAV did that. Individuals did that. Chapters did that. They've driven 15,220 miles delivering supplies and essentials. 17 pallets of water, 12 tons of food, 670 pounds of pet food. People don't think about the pets. They have to eat too. 26 box trucks loads of clothing and shoes they've distributed. 2 tons of toilet paper. 400 first aid kits. 800 emergency blankets. 1 car that was donated to somebody. 500 packs of diapers. A concrete mixer. 60 sleeping bags. Flashlights. 200 gallons of fuel. 12 heaters with the fuel. 40 cases of hot hands. 6 cots. 3 oxygen containers. That saved 3 lives. 1 HVAC installed. 100 5-gallon buckets. 40 sets of hand tools. That's what DAV members have done.
That's all from the DAV, right?
That's from the DAV. Chapter 39 in Bristol distributed that.
That's awesome.
A friend of mine lives up there, and he's sent me a picture of his truck down in a hole. Couldn't even get up on the road. That place was wiped out. And right now, nobody is reaching out, saying, help me.
Well,
that's how good a job they've done.
Yeah. I know right after that happened, my son, who's in the horse business, got all his horse friends, and they took 2 tractor-trailer loads up there, and they took 800 Boston butts. They stayed up there 2 or 3 days cooking for those people.
Yeah.
And they had, one of the trailers was full of coats and clothes and toiletries and all that, and the other trailer was full of food, and they had a convoy went up there, and it was an awesome thing.
Makes you proud to be an American.
Yeah, but even today, if you see the pictures up there, it's still devastating.
Right.
It's devastating. All right, Brandon, let's do one more song.
At the Dirty Bird prepping for patrol, when the news came over the radio, the scouts were down and we lost a Humvee to 4 IEDs and some RPGs. It was Redcon 1 and I grabbed my vest. My heart was a hammer pounding in my chest. The fire was heavy, the air was gritty. In Federalea near Cider City, well, McAllister was always sitting on gold. If he ever felt fear, he never let it show. He had a wife and a daughter back in Maypearl, little Texas town in another world. Well, it wasn't the first house that we'd cleared, and in the faces you could see the fear. All alone in the dark was a scared little girl. She took McAllister all the way back to Maypearl. When he took a knee and I heard him say, come here, baby, don't you be afraid, 'cause a little girl's just a little girl to a daddy. From Maypearl. There's a line of distance there Wasn't no enemy, wasn't no fight. Wasn't no us, wasn't no them. Wasn't no nothing but her and him. When he took a knee and I heard him say, come here, baby, don't you be afraid. You know a little girl's just a little girl to a daddy from Maypearl. It was red cotton one and I grabbed my vest. My heart was a hammer pounding in my chest. The fire was heavy, the air was gritty. In Federlia near Cider City.
All right, that song was called Daddy from Maypearl. This song was written with Chuck Ayers, who wanted to portray a moment of humanity amid the chaos in a war zone. Songwriter was Chuck Jones, and the vocalist was Rivers Rutherford. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the music that we have each program here this morning with Jimmy Miller and my co-host and our special guest, Mr. Howard Thompson from Tullahoma. Jimmy, you got something else you want to talk about?
I do. As we were taking a break during the show, we were talking, and I told you about social media. Well, I've noticed here lately on social media, there's a lot of companies that run advertisements that say that they're partnered with the DAV or they're sponsored by the DAV, and they're to help disabled veterans to get out of debt, improve their credit. Now, unfortunately, in this world we live in, not every company's out there to help you. So if you get something in the mail, something on Facebook, some kind of text that says, we're with the DAV and we're here to help, or we're with the American Legion, we're here to help, you need to do your due diligence and contact your DAV chapter. Make sure these people are legit, because it's sad that people would take advantage of a veteran, but it does happen. So please be wary of stuff like that.
All right, Howard, you want to wrap anything up?
I've said...
you talked about everything you can think of, huh?
Just about. And I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate you coming this morning, and we're about out of here. We got about 5 minutes left, so we'll play one more song, and we'll get out of here. Thanks for coming, Jimmy. Good to see you again.
Thank you, and thanks to our special visitor, and thanks to all our listeners. Hope we'll hear you or see you or talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks. And matter of fact, I think our special guest in 2 weeks, I don't remember them, but in the second show in February, we'll have Ben Ely up here. And Ben can answer a lot of questions about his office and what they do and what's new coming out with the VA, because it changes every day. It's changing every day. I don't see how they keep up with all the stuff that changes.
No.
But anyway, so again, thank you, Howard, for being here. Brandon, take us out of here with that last song, brother.
He loved his country, his friends and family, his brothers in the Corps, his kids and me. Now he lies here in a field of stone, and this mountain town will always be our home. I was blessed to be his wife, forced to say goodbye, and I cried Chattanooga rain, standing in a circle of family. like Chattanooga rain. When I told my children